Hey everyone, it's Peter Kerr from Rock Daydream Nation, and today I've got a special episode. It's a bit of a continuation from the Super Panel episode, which is currently up on my Rock page, which was creating the ultimate supergroup out of Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, Rainbow, Uriah Heep, and Black Sabbath. What I thought I'd do is an episode covering some of the more forgotten or ignored albums out of the catalogues of those bands. So today's a 2x2 episode, and we're going to be looking at Black Sabbath and also Deep Purple. Okay, so the album that I'm going to put up in respect of Black Sabbath that kind of, I don't know whether it gets ignored, but doesn't sort of get the focus and the spotlight that some of the other albums, is Black Sabbath featuring Tony Iommi, The Seventh Star. So this was originally going to be a solo album for Tony Iommi, had Glenn Hughes on vocals. Enormous record company pressure was it needed to be under the moniker of Black Sabbath. Great band. You had Eric Singer on drums. You had Dave the Beast Spitz on bass, obviously Glenn Hughes and Tony Iommi. The thing that gets me into this album is Glenn Hughes' vocals. I'm a Glenn Hughes nut. I love all of Glenn Hughes' solo albums. I love his work in Purple, and I love his work in Sabbath, especially that album. He sings his absolute ass off. The key tracks, In for the Kill, No Stranger to Love, which was the single. Seventh Star, bit of a Kashmir type feel to it. Danger Zone and Heart Like a Wheel. It's certainly the shortest Black Sabbath album. I don't know if that's correct. Maybe the viewers will correct me, but to my ears, it seems like it's a very short, to the point album. It just doesn't outstay its welcome. Some of the sonics are very much of its time in respect of the drum sounds. I know that comparative to the other Black Sabbath albums, it's a lot more commercial, but again, it's the vocals of Glenn Hughes that when he sings, he just puts everything out there, his soul, his energy, and he just rips through it. And it just raises the material to another level. I'm not going to focus on what happened in regards to the ill-fated tour and Glenn Hughes basically leaving the band and going into the wilderness for a couple of years and into different projects. But other than to say that currently he's probably got the best preserved voice for a person of his vintage out of any of the classic rock singers. He's just truly magnificent. And I think this album, along with Tony Iommi's, great riffage, is just an outstanding part of the Black Sabbath canon and needs to, be reinvestigated. So that's Black Sabbath featuring Tony Iommi, probably technically more of a solo album, The Seventh Star. And this is the first pressing. Just put it up there. Had the lyric sheets. There you go. A nice little picture. A lot of those Black Sabbath drawings, of demons and devils from the 70s. This is basically a continuation of it. Very nice artwork, and that's on the first pressing. Highly recommend it. That is Black Sabbath, The Seventh Star. Continuing the Glenn Hughes theme, Deep Purple Mark III, Stormbringer. So you've got the Mark III lineup of David Coverdale, Glenn Hughes, Ian Pace, John Lord, and the great man in black himself, Richie Blackmore. I think Blackers doesn't like this album a lot. It's funky, it's got soul. It's probably sounds the most un-Deep Purple album in the canon. It doesn't have that four on the floor. It's got a bit of groove, a bit of swing. It's completely different, and you can see the influences of Hughes and to a lesser extent, Coverdale were coming into the band and putting it into that direction. And ultimately, that pushed Blackmore out of the band into Rainbow because he wanted to pursue that neoclassical style of heavy metal. So, yeah, this is, look, I don't think it's the first pressing. I picked this up at a record fair. Put the lyric sheets on the back. And it's on the Purple label. And this goes to show how big Deep Purple were. They had their own record label. So Zeppelin had the Swan Song and Deep Purple had the Purple record label and a stable of artists on that label, but none were as successful as Deep Purple. This probably is in the shadow of Burn. Burn was phenomenally successful and sort of gave them a second wind in the US. This didn't do so well, but as an album, it's still really, really, really good. It's got some killer tracks. Stormbringer, which was part of the studio, which was part of the song list live. Lady Double Dealer, that's a great song, a bit of a prototype for Whitesnake, you might say. Soldier of Fortune, which in my opinion is the best David Coverdale vocals of all time. You just listen to his bluesy, his rich tones on that, and it's just basically him and Blackmore playing, gives a shiver up your spine. And then you get into the funky stuff, and I've always liked that funky stuff, and you can tell that, you know, the Unrighteous Brothers, as David Coverdale calls him, and Glenn Hughes, were listening to a lot of Sly and the Family Stone and a lot of that funk stuff. So Love Don't Mean a Thing. You can't do it right with the one you love. To me, I always sort of regarded these sort of funk deep cuts as a little bit of like a hard rock Sam and Dave. They're trading off each other. It's great. And, you know, Blackmore can play funk guitar. There was one song on the album, I think, called Hold On, and Blackmore refused to play lead. And they could, you know, they tried to push him. You've got to play lead. He didn't want to play. He played the lead with one thumb. One take and done. Listen to it. It's killer. So, look, I think Blackmore was pushed into areas that were outside his wheelhouse, but he is just such a genius guitarist. He took it on, and he could actually play funk. He could play that a little bit of that funky rhythm. I think it's a great album, but it does get lost in the shadows of Mark III and, you know, the legacy of Mark II, which towers, quite frankly, over the whole Deep Purple canon. And yeah, it tends to get ignored. But like, as I said, there's a couple of songs right to this day, Stormbringer and, you know, Soldier of Fortune, and they get played in the song set of Whitesnake. Glenn Hughes plays that a lot in a solo, and, you know, as I said, they're outstanding songs. So that's Stormbringer, Deep Purple. So, as I said, just a quick fire 2x2. I'll do next episode coming soon. I'll do Uriah Heep and Led Zeppelin, a couple of albums that are probably just a little bit ignored. Please subscribe to Rock Daydream Nation. Thank you for everyone. I've got up to 400 subscribers and growing, and we'd like one community. Just appreciate more of your comments. Tell me what you like. Tell me what sort of shows that you'd like to see. And yeah, just keep it going. So Rock Daydream Nation, and I'll have an episode soon. Take care. See ya.